Let's rumble off on another jumbo-length motorcycle adventure, this time the Big Loop of France. But it's more than just twisty mountain roads. I want to chase one of the world's great sporting events. The Tour de France. And it has so many dimensions, so much to know and learn, and so much action that unfolds with the plot over the course of weeks. So, from Paris, I go to pick up the motorcycle in a city called Tours, and then to a place I have trouble pronouncing, Noirmoutier, I think. I'm in Tours, France, and I picked up the bike. There it is. It's a CF Moto 650. It's a Chinese-made bike, but it seems really good. It's tough and sturdy and powerful enough, and it's just fine. They got a nice big windshield. One of the things I want to do is experience the great gastronomy, the culinary tradition of France. The escargot, the foie gras, the cheese, the wine. So for lunch, the sandwich. So this trip won't be just motorcycles, and it won't be just the Tour de France, but I'm hoping that you'll learn a little bit something about what makes the Tour so great. And it's France, so you never know what you're gonna get. So I'm here watching the Tour. Life is good. I'm in a place called, and I'm gonna butcher the name because I don't speak French well, Noirmoutier. 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 I came here because there's a restaurant called La Marine. It's right over there. I can see it. Alexandre Couillon is the Michelin 3-star chef. It's 230 euros for dinner. Whew. So I've tried 3 restaurants along this, Fisherman's Wharf row. Oh, damn. Ugh. All complete, meaning they're all full. The most I saw in any one restaurant was 2 parties, but they're full. And La Marine, also complete. And look at this, nature also conspiring against me. You see, this is not a boat ramp. This is the road that crosses back over to the continent. And because of the tides, it floods twice a day. And I missed it somehow. This is what it looks like sort of at other times. I missed it. But there is another road. I won't be mispronouncing a lot of names in Brittany because, sadly, I'll be bypassing most of that western jutting peninsula on my way to Saint-Malo. But first, Saint-Nazaire, which is famous for gigantic luxury liner shipbuilding, and also the Sammy, which you see just ahead. It's that statue off into the water. There it is. It's from 1927, which was built to commemorate the first Americans landing in World War I. Oh, I had a superb lunch at that restaurant right there, and it was the waitress there that told me about Le Sammy, the American, which struck home to me, because one of my goals is to learn more about war and the military history in France, which is, of course, extensive. But I also want to see mountains and nature and forests. I want to see cathedrals, well, maybe a little bit. I want to delve into art and wine, though I did have quite a few beers. And I want to pay my respects to some of the historical giants of the world. In Paris, I'm not going to go to a lot of touristy places. Didn't even go to the Eiffel Tower. Oh, and I love the architecture. Did you see the thatched roof on that house? So, where is this Tour de France you've been talking about, you ask me? Well, again, I go to watch it on television because the first 3 days of the tour are in Denmark. And in the very first prologue stage, which was a short time trial, a guy named Yves Lampart won the whole damn thing in the rain and out of nowhere and beat guys like Wout van Aert. Here we are now, Saint-Malo. Hotel de la Gare. And I want you to know what the Wi-Fi password is. It's right there on the bottom. Okay, you got it? Got it? Okay, got it? Good. Thank you. Saint-Malo, a port city in Brittany. Traditionally the home of pirates and privateers, and a walled fortress city, which was great for the Germans during World War II, but when things started to go bad, they set fire to the place. And then, of course, the Americans, because the Germans were there, shelled it. But it still stands, and it's a beautiful touristy area. Oh, and while I was there, a waitress said, "Oh, you're in luck. There's a bonfire down at the beach." And I said, "Well, what's the occasion?" She said, "I don't remember, but I think it's religious. But whatever the case, for your entertainment, we can watch a man burn his face off." Okay, ladies and gentlemen, there's that guy on the left. Oh, that was a good one. Instant replay. Yeah, that's how you do it. Okay, now big swig of gasoline next to a fire. Give it a go. Oh, that's gotta hurt. Oh, slow-mo instant replay. Oh, good God. Your mama ain't gonna like that. And what do flaming nostrils smell like anyway? That's what? That's a nice picture. But why does every city have to have a Ferris wheel? I don't get it. Okay, let's go. From Cancale, which is famous for oysters, which they pronounce hutres. And, okay, that place you've probably heard of. And then, off to Omaha Beach. Cancale, the Americanized pronunciation, of course. The French, I have no idea, probably pronounce it Chancoye. Site of gout? How about some allopurinol for that? Maybe I'll just be quiet here and enjoy the sights. So this is the famous omelet place in Mont Saint-Michel. Mere Poulard, Michelin rated. The omelet is 36 euros. I'm gonna think about that. So it turns out La Mere Poulard is an omelet place not open for breakfast. And I wasn't there in time for lunch. So I just walked around, enjoyed myself. Now, Mont Saint-Michel is a photographer's dream place. And my photographs are not going to compete with the greats of the world, so I plucked one off the internet. Here it is. Now, when you're driving through France, you will see sometimes a city on a rise, and on top of the city will be a magnificent cathedral, and that's what I saw in this town. And so I had no plans to go there, but I just pulled in and took a look, and of course the front doors are always just open, and I went inside. But as it turns out, in this city there is a second cathedral, an older one, a smaller one they've discarded in favor of the new, bigger, better one, and this is the reject. I'm just stupidly speculating, I don't know. They must have had a good reason to build another cathedral, but back on the road, headed for Omaha Beach, a place we all know, but a place that surprised me. Then off to Calais and Ehrenberg for the cobblestones, and my first 2 stages of the tour in person. This place is so windy. The audio was terrible, so I'm going to overdub, okay? Stay with me. So I'm in Omaha Beach, a solemn place, and yet it's a beach, so people are here, swimming. It's a character flaw, but I can be facetious. I know. But this place touched me. And I went down to this water and I just wanted to hold some of this place that held the blood of my countrymen. It was poignant, really. It's July 4th, American Independence Day, and I'm here at the American Cemetery at Omaha Beach in France. And yeah, I know, different war. July 4th, 1776, December 7th, 1941, June 6th, 1944, September 11th, 2001, war. What do you think when you come to a place like this? I can tell you, I never served in the armed forces, and I'm thankful for that. Luckily, it wasn't a requirement for me. I wouldn't have wanted to go. My father died in Vietnam. He would have been keenly aware of the sacrifice that these men and women made. But as I'm on my vacation, I wonder, should I really be living it up on this hedonistic lifestyle when these men and women gave the ultimate sacrifice and they will never have that opportunity? They never had that chance. I will raise a glass in your honor, Frank Elliott, Corporal from Pennsylvania. Back to the Tour de France, stage number 2, still in Denmark, over the Grand Belt Bridge. Lots of wind and crashes, but one in a bunch sprint by Fabio Jakobsen, who 2 years ago was in a coma after a wreck in the Tour de Poland, so he's back. Stage number 3, huge crowds in Denmark. One in a bike throw by Dylan Groenewegen, who in this very race was in a crash of his own with 10K to go. Wout van Aert in yellow. So now to Calais. So I'm here at the Tour de France. I walked up to this place about a minute before the caravan. I didn't make it to Calais.
Bonjour à tous! Quel plaisir d'arriver dans
I wanted to tell you why it is, as we watch these guys go by in slow motion, that I love the Tour de France so much. Hey, there's Wout van Aert right there in the yellow jersey. Now, there are 22 teams in the Tour de France, each of 8 riders. Each of the 8 riders is chosen because they have a particular talent. They're a sprinter, they're a mountain climber, or they have enough, just natural endurance to be able to win the whole damn thing. The best overall guys race for what is called the General Classification, or GC win. There are also guys called domestiques. These are the guys that are just there to support their team. So there are 21 stages in the tour over 3 weeks. So it makes for this long, extended, great viewing with the best announcers in all of sports. To win this thing, you have to have incredible endurance, and you also have to be lucky to avoid the dangers that are involved, including like dogs running out or people knocking you over, or what is called road furniture. You might see some of this, or just being hit by a car, or great speeds with crashes. The aerodynamics are just crazy, and to learn how a peloton can ride so fast is an amazing thing. Plus, there's the technology of the bikes. To put it all together, it's just got everything. The northeast of France is largely the battleground of World War I, and by chance I passed this Australian memorial park. 5,533 Australians perished in 24 hours.
This boy you got me questioning. Do you get?
Good, whatever, go through.
California, baby! Come on! Take the ladies in. Come on, brother! It's crazy,
Hey, who's your favorite rider?
Fred Mahmoud, I love you. Tomorrow, 6th of July, you're gonna win the stage on the cobblestones. Come on!
Fred Mahmoud from Rotterdam.
Yeah,
We've been on school with him. We've been on school with him.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Cool.
In class and he also.
Oh, really?
No,
He's a phenomenon.
we pronounce it like it Tadej Pogacar.
Today, Pogacar. I
Pogacar.
got to remember that.
And on the big hills, I think very
Yeah,
good.
you will see in the Alps. You will see in the Alps.
Yeah.
Next week.
Yeah.
You go to Alpe d'Huez?
Yes.
Me too. I see you there.
Oh, are you going to
With the Mobilon. You can sleep with me, no problem.
Oh.
No tent. Mobilon, barbecue, everything.
These are the cobblestones that are famous for the race Paris-Roubaix. Now, this is not Paris-Roubaix. Today, the Tour de France on the cobbles, and I'm here. They're putting the hurt on them today.
It's bad here.
It is bad here. It is bad here. But today is at least dry. When this is wet, it's treachery. It's a wreck fest. In many of the more popular stages, it's necessary to come the day before so that you can stake out your spot. And then you have to find a way to pass the time the next day.
I think today it will be Mathieu van der Poel.
Van der Poel. Okay.
Yes, I think so.
Good luck.
Thank you.
And drinking is a popular way to pass the time. And riding a bicycle. Not the Tour. I found this guy in the old Tour de France of vintage gear with the old vintage single-speed bike and the old tires, and look at the jersey, it's probably wool. Oh, and he's got that rucksack with the old style number. Oh, and no helmet.
California, baby! Still partying. No sleep. Team no sleep.
Here, spectators routinely, somehow, some way, get in the way of the riders. It's just part of the sport, and it's another obstacle. And It's crazy, but that's the Tour de France. That's cycling. You gotta love the patriotism too. If you want to party all night with dudes from Belgium, well, the Cobblestones was the place to be. Well, bummer, but I gotta go from there to Reims, Rams, Rons, whatever, and then on to Verdun by way of the Champagne region, and to the place of beautiful girls. I'm in Reims. It's hard to pronounce. It's like difficult for an English-speaking person. There's kind of a Reims, spelled R-E-I-M-S. We would pronounce it Reims, but that's not even close to correct. Behind me is the Notre Dame Cathedral of Reims. I'm so sorry, French people. But built in the 13th century, caught fire, was bombed in World War I to where it was like almost uninhabitable. It was rebuilt largely in cooperation with the Germans who had shelled it and the French Chancellor. Reims. So sorry. But, I'm not really big on cathedrals, but there are a few you need to go to in your life. You know, like St. Peter's in the Vatican, and Notre Dame in Paris, which sadly has had its own problems with fire, and maybe St. Peter's in Deland. You have to go there too. You have to. Monsieur, how do you pronounce the name of the city?
Reims. Reims.
Reims.
Reims.
Reims.
Oui.
Merci beaucoup. Okay, I got pulled over by the gendarmes. So, but they're very nice and they're going to let me go with a warning because you can't use your mobile phone in France when you drive.
Yes. It's prohibited.
It is prohibited.
Yes.
As it should be. It's true. But I was actually using my GoPro and not my mobile phone. So they said, okay.
So excuse me, sir.
You're very nice. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Merci beaucoup.
Have a good road.
Hey, we don't have these in the Motherlode. Does that say religious chocolate? I have ridden myself into the Champagne wine growing region of France. So these grapes are Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, Pinot Meunier. But I'm not here about the grapes. I'm here to say hi and pay my respects to my old friend, Dom Perignon. Well, Dom, everything's going great so far. Feeling good, not lonely, bike's good, but are there dark clouds?
As I'm walking down the Avenue des Champagne at Epernay, I'm reminded that another thing I like about the tour is that the winner of the GC category and his team will drink champagne while they're racing. They're not really racing, on the last day in Paris before they make the big sprint on the Champs-Élysées. But what other sport drinks during the competition?
Hey, there's my friend again. Hi, Dom. I wanted to take a champagne tour. I found Mercier Champagne. They've been in business since 1858. In 1871, they started building what we see now, which are tunnels. 18 kilometers of tunnel cellars for their champagne. Hey, there's another relief of Dom Perignon. I think this guy is popular around here or something. And at the end, we get to sample some champagne.
I'm Ariana Robinoff from Las Vegas, Nevada.
And I'm Rich Robinoff from Las Vegas, Nevada, aka The Beard, Beauty and the Beard.
Well, so they say.
I like
so
it.
they say.
Are you enjoying France?
We are.
Since we met you.
Oh, well, of course.
Right.
Put us in the blooper reel.
Blooper reel.
Okay, merci beaucoup. Thank you.
It was a pleasure. We'll
Lovely
stay in
to meet
touch,
you,
honestly.
Chris.
One way or another, we'll connect.
Excellent. I'd love
Sure,
that.
I have your
Maybe I'll
card.
take a bike trip out to see you.
Yeah, in California. Good, it's still here and no ticket. Woohoo!
Oh, that's such a good feeling. No ticket, but I have a bad feeling about these dark clouds. So I seem to have this idiopathic need to go from a happy, nice event to a somber and melancholy one. Like I want to simultaneously feel like the best and the worst of humanity. So next I go to Verdun from World War I. It's not a place you want to go. It's a place you need to go.
Doing the same thing.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
See, there I go. A happy laugh and then the somber place. The Verdun. It was a battle in World War I in 1916 that lasted from February to December, and over 500,000 died. So when I leave these places, I don't feel bad. It's a personal education, and I'm okay with that. It is amazing how the GPS can take you from, a big road to a little teeny tiny windy, gravelly country road past chickens and farms and such. And well, anyway, here we go. And while we're going up this very steep mountain, you can't tell how steep it is. I'll tell you about the tour. Teddy Pogačar is the overall favorite to win the general classification, but he has two main rivals, Primož Roglič and Jonas Vingegaard, both on the same team, which is Jumbo-Visma. In the stage number 5, Roglič crashed and he dislocated his shoulder, but he put it back in himself, but he lost 2 minutes and 36 seconds. Jonas Vingegaard came back and he's only 40 seconds behind the leader at this point. But in the next stage, Teddy Pogačar won in a sprint. So Roglič put his shoulder back in himself. You gotta love the tour. And Teddy Pogačar in yellow. And now we go to La Blanchette de Belleville, which is complicated but means something about beautiful girls. I am looking forward to this stage. I set up my camp on the side of the road and had to put up with all the crazy trucks going by and the music blaring half the night. Well, these party people weren't too bad. But they closed the road 7 kilometers from the finish, so you gotta walk.
Did I ever mention how much I hate bagpipes?
I think this guy hates bagpipes too. Or he's a serial killer. And what's up with that shirt?
I'm at the 3 kilometers to go mark. So obviously I'm... Hello! Hello! Hello again! Yes, my friend.
So the waiting game begins again. So I have a little ice cream, sit in the shade, a little people watching, hey, a little television. Well, a very big television. So I decided I wanted to experience the finale, the finish of a stage of the Tour de France. So I came here, but as it turns out, I'm not even really at the finish line. I'm still quite a ways away. But hey, I can watch some television. There are a lot of people here, and I'm starting to feel that solo introverted Chris come back again, so I'm heading down the mountain. I found myself a place in the shade, by myself. I wonder if it's okay to fly my American flag so conspicuously, you know, during these hyper-nationalistic times, especially right now. But I wanted to root on the Americans, so I didn't care. I'm flying that baby. Check this out. Kevin Vermeke said hi, go USA. We had a moment. But sadly, he crashed the very next day and had to leave the tour. Hey, Joe Dombrowski, this is starting to be a thing. Quinn Simmons, this feels good. Listen to this guy. He's Canadian. You gotta love him. I continue on my journey to alternate the heartbreaking and the heartwarming. So off to Ulm, Germany, and, well, you'll see. And then through the Black Forest. Frickin' frack, I knew I felt something in my helmet. Even in this fairy tale French village, American culture seeps in. See?
I'm in the gallery of Michel Lott. So, yes. Hello. Hello.
Who is very well respected and well known, and I enjoyed my time with him. This is the place I needed to go to pay my respects to a giant talent. But along the way, I met this lovely couple.
Ken and Rose Cox. We're here from Fredericksburg, Texas, and our daughter is Kitty.
It's so emotional. Isn't it beautiful that she had a little tear? I love that. Congratulations. She takes a moment.
I can absolutely tell you it's an honest one too. That's the first one that I don't know why.
I don't know why, it just all hit me.
Just now at this moment. Oh, it's beautiful.
This is the church in Kaiserberg in which their daughter will be married. Isn't that nice? But I'm here for that somber purpose. You see, the hotel I'm in, La Chambard, is the place in which Anthony Bourdain took his own life. And I didn't want to tell Ken and Rose why I was there. I wanted them to have their great moment while, you know, I had mine. So as I looked behind Ken, I could see the stairs in which Tony went up one day and never came back. But I had my meal, which was just okay. I think Tony would laugh at that. And I had my moment.
So when I rolled up here, I just had an empty feeling coming to the place where Anthony Bourdain met his demise. So I wanted to raise a glass to Tony for all the inspiration, for travel, for food, for filmmaking. Salute.
I am on a mission for my friend John. John has been supporting Ukrainian refugees, and for one, he bought her an Apple laptop, and he asked me to deliver it to Ulm. I said, yeah, not just yeah, hell yeah. And the plan was to meet at the Ulm Cathedral, which I had a little bit of time to explore. It's a happy moment with Valeria and her daughter, and this little picture from my company newsletter. Hey, in luck, in Ulm, there is the International Donau Fest, which in English we pronounce it the Danube, which is the river. I wouldn't swim in it, by the way.
Dankeschön.
Er sagt, ich bin ein Deutscher, ein Wanderer sagt, ich bin ein Deutscher.
I'm just guessing here, but I think this is where Rottweilers come from. Tyson Krupp has an elevator testing facility. Definitely just paid €9 to ride an elevator. This is the Black Forest of Germany. Great riding, lots of riders out there, but you know what? It's really just a forest. And I really wanted a cuckoo clock from the Black Forest, but sometimes the calendar does not help you, so I was there on a Sunday, and the only place I saw was closed. So, oh well, I had to order one from the internet. Another nice thing about traveling in Europe by motorcycle is that it's much, much more common to see that little two-finger salute wave from one motorcyclist to another. It's more common than in the United States. I would not have guessed that.
Just looking for maybe a little something to eat, and I'll be on my way.
Update on the Tour de France, Stage 8, Dole to Lausanne, Switzerland. A breakaway today, but run down by the peloton and won by Wout van Aert of Jumbo-Visma. Teddy Pogacar stays in yellow, but it was a day that took out Kevin Vermeeke, the American, in a crash that had him abandon the Tour. Also, Thibaut Pinot in a crash that also involved the yellow jersey, but he gets back up, Thibaut Pinot, and is almost immediately hit by a soigneur who's holding a food bag, hits him right in the face, knocks off his clothes. Oh, I hate to laugh, but poor guy.
Yes, I'm Frank from Tottenham, the beautiful place on earth. in Europe, okay. Chamonix is too far away for you for today. Thun is beautiful, but Interlaken is better.
Okay. I'll take your advice, Frank. Thank you.
Yes.
I used to tell people in backpacking that it's often not the journey, the route that's the best thing. It's the people you meet along the way. Frank, thank you. I have to say it. Aw, frick. This is one of those times when I think I'll just shut up and let you enjoy.
And this is from the Angel Mountain, and this is angel water.
Angel water.
Angel water. Yeah.
Leaving the Angel water and heading for the start of a Tour de France race in Morzine. Then, I never did climb Mont Blanc. But we're in the Alps now, a couple of spectacular mountain stages on the Tour de France. Aerodynamics, a huge part of tactics in the Tour de France. When you are in the slipstream of a group of riders, you save about 20% of your energy. That's huge. So today, a group of 21 riders attacked the peloton in a breakaway. And because there are so many, they took turns breaking the wind. Yet, with 55 kilometers to go, Bob Jungels from Luxembourg attacked the breakaway and went on to win a stage of the Tour de France. Huge for him. Teddy Pogacar stays in yellow. Chamonix, France. What a town. I was actually here about 40 years ago, and I saw this massive Mont Blanc at that time, and I vowed that I would come back one day and I would go to the summit. Well, I'm back, but this cable car doesn't exactly reach the summit, but close enough for today. It was first climbed in 1786. It's about 15,700 feet high, and that elevation varies, of course, because there's an ice cap on the top that it grows and diminishes with climate change. Oh, look at those people down in the valley. About 10 to 20 people each year don't survive their attempt to summit Mont Blanc. And because so many people do reach the summit, it has Europe's highest toilets, brought there, of course, by helicopter. In Morzine for the start of stage 10 in the Tour de France. Teddy Pogacar looking strong, maybe unbeatable, but Jonas Vingegaard is hanging in there, only 39 seconds back. A young American, Nielsen Paulus from Sacramento, in 9th place.
I'm Kurt, I'm coming from Belgium. I'm riding with a press photographer.
How does one get chosen to ride a motorcycle in the Tour de France?
If your agency works in Tour de France, then it's easy. You come automatically to the Tour de France. I can go anywhere.
Excellent.
We can take pictures anywhere, everywhere, in the race, out of the race sometimes, to make a postcard or something. Oh, the challenge, yeah, it's the biggest circus of the year in cycling. So yeah, if you are a part of it, if you love cycling. I've been a cyclist a long time ago, not professional, but I wasn't a big talent, but I like to drive my motorbike, so and I work for an agency, so I do all the classics in Belgium. I do all the nicest, for me, races. I'm also I have also another profession that I do at home, but here it's not a holiday, but it's nearly a holiday.
Is it difficult to stay in front of the riders on the downhill?
Normally on the downhill you've been sent away by the guys on the motorbike who regulate the traffic in the race, so in the descent you have to go in front of the riders. Mostly it's the last K from the climb. They say okay, it's good, now you can leave and you take the descent. Maybe you stop in a descent in a corner to make a picture and then you go behind the riders.
Have you had any near misses? Almost accidents?
This year I had a big crash on the Tour de Flanders. I was hit by a car.
Ooh.
Yeah, so my motorbike was totally destroyed. But yeah, sometimes it happens.
Did you get good film of that?
I got some photos from colleagues, but no. I hadn't an injury. My photographer has broken his elbow, but it all went okay. So it's a new motorbike. So
no.
Yeah, sometimes it's
Thank you very much. Chris.
Okay, thank you.
The police, or the gendarmes in France, think of the route of the Tour de France as an impenetrable wall. You cannot cross that line in a car. On foot or on a bike, it's okay. On a motorcycle, still no. So sometimes you have to stop and watch the tour go by, whether you want to or not. So I passed all those guys on my motorcycle and sat myself down, this time in the sun, don't tell my wife, and waited for the tour. If you're leading the Tour de France and you want to win that stage, on the downhills, you have to really push it. You have to go on the razor edge of out of control. And sometimes that means flying off the side of a mountain. People have died. While these guys are riding, I'll tell you the results of today's stage. The peloton let the breakaway go. 4 guys kicked it in at the end, one by the stash, Magnus Cort of an American team, EF Education Easy Post. The peloton and the yellow jersey came in almost 9 minutes after the winner. So what's the strategy here? Are they saving it up for another stage, or are they just exhausted? Today I'm on Col du Telegraph, a famous spot along stage 11 between Albertville and Col du Grenon. You see it there on the far eastern side of France. I got a great spot for the tent, not on the side of the road today because that's way too loud. So now the waiting game, which sometimes includes beer. Old cycling guys will tell you today's stage was one of the greatest in the history of the Tour de France, because two guys from one team, Jumbo-Visma, Roglic and Vingegaard, took turns today attacking Tadej Pogačar. Imagine you're Tadej Pogačar, and it just was incessant, one after another attack, and he just tried and tried and tried until eventually Jonas Vingegaard put in an attack, and Pogačar had no answer. He was crumbling. He was done. He was struggling to get up the Col de Grenon. And Jonas Vingegaard won the stage and the yellow jersey. It was miraculous. It was amazing. There was so much suffering that you could see and even viscerally feel from both of these guys, Pogačar and Vingegaard, going up this last mountain. It was courageous. It gives you a tremendous amount of respect for the heart and soul of this competition. In his first Tour de France, 22-year-old Thomas Pidcock wins Alpe d'Huez. It's crazy. Also, Tadej Pogačar launched attacks twice on Jonas Vingegaard, but couldn't shake him, so Vingegaard stays in yellow. Let's continue the ride, following the flag of Slovenia down the Alpe d'Huez and its massive traffic jam, headed for the southern terminus of the Alps and into the majestic south of France. Oh yeah, I had to stop for a picture here. And yeah, I am standing in the middle of the road, cars going by. But I stopped to watch Stage 13 into Saint-Étienne and given a beer by the world's scariest bartender there. The stage won by Mads Pedersen in a sprint. And I was thinking that I pronounce it Vingegaard, but it might be more correct to pronounce it Vingegaard as some of the announcers, but I found this picture. Vindergalt? I don't know. I don't know how the French pronounce it, but I pronounce it Menton. Had a nice Italian meal there because Menton is only a few kilometers from Italy. So life can be hard living in the French Riviera, so you just have to go with whatever skills you have. And this guy has skills. I really liked him. And I would have given him something, but you know, on a motorcycle you're wearing gloves, so you just can't reach into your pocket and grab a euro and throw it out to a guy. Even the flea markets are glitzy in Cannes, pronounced Cannes in French, but more famously known for its film festival. And while I didn't bump into any celebrities, I did notice that some of the rich and famous of the cinema world left their mark. I still don't understand it. Why does every town have a Ferris wheel? Have some inventiveness, some ingenuity. Whatever. Along the Mediterranean. Yeah, there's a beach back there somewhere, not my favorite, but I'm off to the city of Grasse, the world capital of perfume, with a microclimate just right for growing flowers. And yes, I bought some lavender perfume for the missus. And the nice lady at the perfume store threw in a couple of freebies.
This one is for your wife. Indian summer. And that one is for you.
Oh.
Rocky.
Merci beaucoup.
Rocky.
Yeah.
Yes.
Rocky.
I have created a new scent when I took this glass spritzer bottle of perfume, placed it in my pannier of the motorcycle, and it mixed so nicely with the odor of the old sleeping bag and dirty socks. C'est magnifique. I have programmed the GPS to take me to a famous flower farm outside of Grasse. And this is it. I don't think this is it. No. Never did find it. Oh well. This is Cassis, a sweet little Mediterranean town, a rockin' place, and this is their beach at about 7 o'clock in the evening. Now my friend Lisa told me to go to one of the calanques. They're beautiful little inlets into the sea in which you can go swimming, and so I did, but to my great disappointment, it was way too crowded, and I didn't even snap a picture. It's a cultural melting pot. It's France's oldest city, and its second most populous. Join me as I take a little tour around the Grand Old Port of Marseille. Arles. You've heard of this town, and it has a great Roman amphitheater. But I didn't come here because I'm a great fan of the movie Gladiator. I came here because I'm one of the great unwashed herd that loves Vincent van Gogh. Vincent painted here for only 14 months, including this Cafe Terrace at night, which still exists. I had a mediocre but memorable lunch right there. This is the hospital grounds where Vincent stayed after cutting off part of his left ear. Vincent's famous yellow house, in which he rented with Paul Gauguin, sadly destroyed in the war, but this is the spot. I have come to this very remote place in the southwest of France because I've heard the oysters are among the world's best. As I drove in, there were over the water massive amounts of oyster farms. They must feed the world with these oysters, but that's my baby. And a glass of white wine. Let's taste one of the world's best oysters. Huitres.
I can say I did try the best. Next, a little reverence, a little adoration of another of the world's great artists, Salvador Dali. Barcelona. I only came here for one reason, and that was La Sagrada Familia. Oh, and to get a haircut too. Gaudi's famous, still unfinished cathedral. For a guy that is not big on cathedrals, well, this one was not to be missed. And while I waited to get inside, I enjoyed some people watching too. But the interior, spectacular. Just goes to show what you can accomplish with a little bit of imagination.
I wake up every minute with the fever dreams. I push a mind to a limit where it needs to feed. I work blind, got vision I don't need to see. I'm picking mind over matter, I believe in me. I need to find more hours in the day to breathe. Need to find more power in the way I be. And when my mind turns sour with the painful scenes, I need to scream out loud, I can't stop me. I wanna be the greatest like Rocky. You know I leave them all hating like a hobby. I'm out here making moves like a lobby. And if you ain't with me, it's your loss. See, I got my mind on the facts, I'm a python. Grab what I like real fast, choke until I have everything I attack, everything that I lack, everything that I want, and I see, matter of fact. Cause I'm my own worst enemy. Only if I let it be. I can control anything if I can just think carefully. I control my destiny.
While I was away, Michael Matthews from Australia wins stage 14. In a very hot stage 15, Primoz Roglic had to abandon, and his teammate Steven Krajicek had his own crash. Jonas Vingegaard also crashed, but continued on and did not lose any time to his main rival, Tadej Pogačar.
I'm in the capital city of Angora. Avella. Not Angola. It's Andorra. It's a small country of about 20,000 people that live high in the mountains, skiing in mountains. We're in the Pyrenees, and hiking in nature, and Via Ferrata. It's a city. But this city, La Vella, is known for shopping, duty-free shopping. Which I never understood, but look, there are some mountains. See? I'm definitely not going to McDonald's, but I will go to a Starbucks. Okay, I got my chain tension done by this nice young gentleman. What is your name?
Andres.
Andres did this very nicely for me. Says I need a new chain, but it's a rental, so okay, we'll get through this. And now I'm safe, but I probably won't fall off the bike. Probably. Okay. Andorra is not in the European Union, so you have to go through a border checkpoint to go back into France. And this guy, yeah, him, told me I had missed the Tour de France. It was over, already done. He even checked with a friend. I just laughed. Carcassonne du Foix. Now, Foix is a city in which I could live. You see, it's way down south near Spain and near the Pyrenees, and it has a crystal clear river, which is a rarity in France. My friend from Senegal.
Yes, from Senegal.
Is it your first Tour de France? First?
Yes.
Oh, this screaming kid is killing me. There's no one in sight and he's screaming again. Well, I do like his enthusiasm. Finally. Did you like it?
Yeah, I like it very bad, yes.
Yes, all right.
C'est un coup double qui nous fait sacrément plaisir, presque autant qu'à vous. Bravo encore donc Hugo Hull pour cette belle.
I read this is the 6th time that they've had the finish of the Tour de France in Troyes. And considering how tight the space is, it seems a singular bad choice.
Very few people can actually see the podium well. It's like it's made for television.
But the French are not complainers.
A burner of a stage today as Tadej Pogačar launched this risky, dangerous attack on the downhill. While he didn't crash, he didn't shake Jonas Vingegaard either. I'll tell you more as we check out the Aeroscopia Musée Aeronautique in Toulouse. Matteo Jorgensen, the American, did crash while riding second on the stage on the downhill. He ended up fourth. Canadian Hugo Hull was the stage winner. This little aerospace museum is at the world headquarters of Airbus, but it's not the only flying hotspot in Toulouse. This is Aerospace Valley, home to French Space Command, the Space Academy, and this place, City de l'Espace.
C'est l'astéroïde qui doit être déplacé.
So there was a decision to be made today, and I made it. My plan originally was go to Hautacam, which is a classic mountain stage of the Tour de France. It's a worthy goal, but the Tour de France is not that great a spectator sport in person. I mean, it's great if you were in the helicopter or you were on the back of the motorbike, you know, right there in the peloton, or you know, or with the breakaway. But to follow it and sit and stand in the sun and wait and wait and wait, and then boom, there they go. Ain't that great? I mean, it's good once or twice, 3 times. You know, I saw it in the beginning, I saw the end, I saw a mountain stage, you know, saw the cobbles. It was great, but I don't really want to go to Hautacam. So I'm not going to go to Hautacam. So now, where am I going to go? I got to think about that. I just decided I'm not going to Hautacam. Not going. Not going. I'm in a nameless little bar in a nameless little French village, watching the Tour de France. Brandon McNulty pulled Jonas Vingegaard and Tadej Pogačar up the hill, and they should have just given him the stage because he did all the work. And they didn't. They sprinted for the stage win, and it was wrong. It sucked. And the barmaid thinks I'm a crazy American, and she's right.
I love tall ships, especially the Napoleonic era ships of the line. This is La Hermione, a 32-gun light frigate, and full disclosure, this is a replica. The French built this lady starting in 1778, and then she sailed and fought against the British in our American Revolutionary War. In 1793, she ran aground and sank. But 200 years later, some French maritime history buffs decided to build a replica, and this is it. In 2014, she made her maiden voyage, but time wears on all of us, I know, So this is a retrofit. Some guys like old cars or fire trucks or trains. This is what does it for me. So thanks to this maritime crew for letting me come on board and pretend to be Captain Jack Aubrey for just a few minutes. Life is rough. Hey, hey, Biarritz, a seaside town meant for royalty and luxury and surfers, so obviously not for me. I think I'll get out. Let's go to Bordeaux, sounds like fun. And then on to Paris. The big loop of France is closing, and I hear there's some bike race there or something. What the hell is toilet club races? Turns out it's some kind of dog grooming place. Who knew? So I'm told to come to this place for the whipped hot chocolate and toasts. So there it is. Like the whipped part has reduced. There's the toasts. Comes with extra hot chocolate. Extra hot chocolate. And it's good. It's freaking good. I did not see all of Bordeaux, but what I did see was impressive. They have their collective act together from what I saw, like this picnicking spot in the public gardens, and historical monuments, and the ubiquitous Ferris wheel, which I'm guessing is legally required to have, public transportation, sidewalk cafes with friendly patrons, and very happy residents. Very happy residents. This was the best restaurant in France, Echo, in which, I kid you not, I had guinea pig. I didn't plan on going to Saint-Emilion, but I was driving by. I knew it was a famous wine village, so I stopped on in for a look-see. If you are a wine enthusiast, you could spend a week here, no problem. When I was a kid, I saw on National Geographic an article about Lascaux and the prehistoric cave paintings that are here. And I was immediately fascinated and thought, I'm going there sometime in my life, and then was devastated to hear that the French had closed off Lascaux to the public and that you couldn't go see it. Well, this is a representation of Lascaux, and it's said to be remarkably good, so here I am. These prehistoric cave paintings are 20,000 years old. And look at this one, it's a horse upside down. "45 or 50 years later, I'm here. This is Lascaux 4. There have been 3 other iterations of, a reproduction of Lascaux. And it was quite nice. Mostly in French. Imagine that. This is what I do. It gets to be about 4:30 and I'll stop and I'll decide
I want to find a place where I can watch the Tour de France, so I came into this place.
And this is what I saw in the final mountain stage of the Tour de France, Hautacam, the stage I decided not to go to. Perhaps I should have gone because Jonas Vingegaard beat Teddy Pogačar by about a minute in this stage. And so now it'll be very difficult for Teddy Pogačar to come back to win the Tour de France. And we found out too that two-time defending champion Teddy Pogačar is a good sport. On June 10th, 1944, 4 days after D-Day, a German SS group surrounded this village of Ardures-sur-Glane. They separated the men into sheds and barns, and all of the women and children into the church. And what happened next was a massacre. After this atrocity, the village was burned, every building, and as I looked around, there was no building untouched. I am, at heart, a seeker of balance. So I needed some reminder of the beauty of the world. So off we go to a monastery. I hope to meet a couple of monks, maybe some Gregorian chants. That'd be nice. But what I found was that there is a strict prohibition against photographing monks. My request was met with no. Luckily, this monastery has beer, to drown my sorrows. So as I cruise around Paris, just seeing the sights, I have one place in mind. It's Storer, the oldest patisserie in Paris. It opened in 1730 by Nicolas Storer, who is the pastry chef to Louis XV. And I came here for one thing, the baba au rhum.
Here's the thing. This baba au rhum is soaked in rum, so it has a little dish underneath, and the alcohol seems to have been baked out, but still there's that unmistakable flavor. Now I'm mad because that's freaking addictive. Why didn't the girl tell me it was so good? I'm at the finale of the 2022 Tour de France on the Champs-Élysées in Paris. There's only one thing at stake today, and that's the sprint finish, the stage win, which will likely be won by Wout van Aert. Anyway, that's my prediction, but we'll find out. I won't be able to see it, of course, because I can't get anywhere near the finish line. There are way too many people here. I position myself at the Arc de Triomphe. There it is. You see it right behind me? So my plan is to just walk the Champs-Élysées as the riders come by 8 times. See what we can see. Have a little fun. Wish me luck.
Le passage le plus difficile de ce circuit, le haut des champs.
It was one of the best tours ever. And here's your champion, Jonas Vingegaard, whatever, but he's truly a deserving champion. He also won the King of the Mountain classification in the ugly polka dot jersey. His teammate Wout van Aert, best sprinter. And the white jersey for best young rider, Tadej Pogačar.
And the Tour de France is done. I won't be going back to the Tour de France. When you see it live once, that's all you need. Okay.
There is one institution in Paris to which I had to go. It's Harry's Bar. Patrons included Ernest Hemingway, Bogart and Bacall, and George Gershwin wrote American in Paris there. And I don't usually have hot dogs in bars, but that one was pretty good.
I'm Raphael.
Raphael.
Yes. Do you want me to look at the camera?
Whatever you want. I don't care.
You're the director, okay. Just like free flowing.
And Miss Macedonia, your name is?
My name is Diona, and I'm from North Macedonia, which you mentioned. Skopje.
I noticed you said North Macedonia, but it's really, in your mind, Macedonia.
It's completely Macedonia.
Yeah. Well, congratulations. You're in my film.
Thank you very much. It was lovely meeting you.
So what French travel film would be complete without a shot of the Eiffel Tower or the Louvre? Well, you'll have to do that one on your own. You're not getting it from me. I do have a few days before I take the bike back to Tours, so maybe I'll look for a couple of things to do. I do have an uneasy feeling about being here in Alvers. This is the place where Vincent van Gogh lived, and in fact, the place he passed away. Just outside town, there's a cemetery on a hill, surrounded by wheat fields, and that odd feeling just intensified. And as I rode out of town, it came to me. I feel as if I am inside a Vincent van Gogh painting.
It's Chris in Amboise, France, where Leonardo da Vinci lived the last 3 years of his life. I wanted to see the tomb of da Vinci, of course, and it's closed. It's in the Chapel Saint-Hébert, and it's under renovation for the last 2 years and for another year or so. So you come to expect these things. It's okay.
So instead, let's celebrate the life of Leonardo da Vinci, starting with the place in which he lived. In Tours, I found Musée des Compagnons. You see, starting in the Middle Ages, a young apprentice would take a Tour de France. He would travel the country, learning a particular skill from masters in his craft. At the end of this years-long tour, he must create a particularly impressive example of his work. If it's recognized as exemplary and worthy, then it becomes a compagnon. And his work might end up here. Compagnon literally means companion. And these young companions were required to maintain a certain type of dress, including sashes and hats, and they must carry a cane. Here are some examples of these canes. My favorite piece in the collection is from a particularly good locksmith who made this lock where if it's not opened just right, then this handcuff gets slapped around the offender's wrist and then, well, you know, he's toast. Chateau de Chambord. I promise this is the last place I visit before I had to turn the bike back in tours. And as we peruse, let me tell you something that Tony Bourdain once said when asked about his travels. He said, "Don't be afraid to eat a bad meal. You know, if you don't risk the bad meal, you never get the magical one." And maybe that's why I alternated the heartbreaking and the heartwarming, because I wanted to experience and know the good versus the bad so I could appreciate the good. Something to think about anyway. I want to thank you for going along with me. It was a big loop and a great ride.